3, 2. Welcome in. We are in Carroll County. Everyone, give it up for Luke Jones. Yes. And Matt Skura is here, Raven Center.
That's who they want to see.
After years, we have returned. Thanks for coming out. We got a packed house. I promised you something cozy, right? I said it would be almost like Durham, but more like Owings Mills, more like Purple Family.
Yeah, no, this is awesome. I love it.
Well, I'll tell you what, for us, we're 0-0, and we like that. So we have good vibes here and everything. But for you with training camp and having it, it's time to play real football. I mean, for all of us, we're ready. I know you guys are ready. And 6 weeks of doing everything that you've been doing, where are you in the getting ready for Miami here? Rested and ready to go?
Yeah, I think the team feels really rested. Once the final preseason game is over, I think everyone's minds shifts immediately to Miami. After the last preseason game, after the Eagles won, we actually start game planning a little bit for Miami, even a little bit for Arizona. So we kind of, got our feet wet as far as who their starters are going to be on the offense and defensive side of the ball. And, I think we're all ready to go and just getting ready for Sunday.
For you, this has to be an exciting time going into another year as a starter. I couldn't help but think as I was driving here tonight that a couple years ago, you were the guy that didn't make the team. You were on the practice squad, and I can't help but think the position you're in now, how good it has to feel for you, how relaxing this past weekend probably was for you compared to where you were your first year or two really trying to break in.
Yeah, definitely. Saturday, 4 p.m. has always been kind of like a dreaded time for my wife and I.
You lose your phone right around then, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Your battery dies.
Yeah. So, these past 2 years have been, it's been relaxing. It's been good to just be able to kind of get our mind off of football for, a couple days, just kind of clear the mind and, just get ready for the season because it's long and, you got to get ready for a grind and, you're trying to put your best football out there every single week. So, definitely feel good.
How many of you are Hard Knocks people? Anybody watching this year, previous years? I mean, the August thing about the Turk and Joe Douglas was the original Turk.
Way back when,
He's now running the Jets. I see that as well. That part of this, not just for the multimillionaires with vested contracts, but for everybody, you all feel that energy, and you were in that position. Most guys in the league were in that position, right? Most guys in the league kind of came in the hard way and had to earn this thing. There are very few free tickets here, first-round draft picks who sort of make the team no matter what happens in August, but everybody sort of worries a little bit, and especially in a business where you're always an injury away. To make it through and to not have to worry about it on a Saturday, that's a gift unto itself, right?
Oh, for sure. I think mentally that's just a huge part of it too because, not only are you worrying about, in all the preseason games, you want to make sure, okay, I'm putting out the best film. I have all my assignments correct. I'm not, giving up a sack or a pressure or anything like this. And then after the last preseason game, you're like, oh, okay, all right, I tried to put everything on tape that I did, try to give it my best, and then you're like worrying constantly. It's hard to sleep. You're waiting for a phone call, waiting for hopefully not a phone call. A lot of guys in my draft class now, it's coming up in year 3 or 4 where you see some guys not making the team, and that's really an eye-opening part of it too. Guys that you all came into the league together, and you see different guys either getting cut, traded, this or that. So, definitely eye-opening experience.
Maybe you see guys also maybe ahead of you on the food chain of making the team or having a career where they are, and there's no straight path for anyone, right? I mean, and I've kidded you, and I always say that I get along with the O-line guys. Mike Flynn and I, 20 years later, you're very reminiscent of Mike Flynn or of Spencer Follett. Those guys of that era that were side of the roster, having to work harder, and that's an O-line thing, I think, too, that part of that is second, third, fourth year, that's what they believe in here in building, right? And I think we're seeing that with Bozeman, Powers, other guys that are in other positions, that they make room here for people like you if they believe in you, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's definitely encouraging for me and for other guys that are really having to kind of grind it out and making sure that they're doing everything they can to make the team. And so before I got into the NFL, a lot of the people who I've talked to who had experience playing and coaching, just said, everyone's story and everyone's path into the NFL is different. So just because someone who's your same age gets on the team first doesn't mean, you're going to not make the team or not have a career. You just kind of have to kind of keep the blinders on a little bit and just, hope that things are going to go your way, and that if you work hard and do the right things, that those are all going to pay off.
I would think, being a guy there that was undrafted and has the path that you took to be where you are now as a starting center in the NFL, it's easier to maintain that chip on the shoulder. You weren't a first-round pick. You weren't a third-round pick. And I would think that's also inspiring probably to your new teammate, Patrick McCarry, another rookie free agent who made the 53-man roster, that it's got to be cool for you to not just maintain that chip on your shoulder, always trying to prove yourself, but also kind of be an inspiration for all those less heralded guys trying to make it.
Yeah, for sure. And, I can kind of help them out and speak from experience, being in those positions, being young and either not making the team or being young and on the team and trying to figure out, what's my role, what's my spot, figuring out, practicing in the NFL, getting ready for a game in the NFL, and all those certain things. And so I think the whole O-line room in general has really helped out with that. Marshall, James, Ronnie, we all kind of take it upon ourselves as, the older guys and the leaders to kind of help out the younger guys, because, things are going fast. You don't realize, the days are going by really fast. You're getting plays. You're getting new looks on the defense. You're trying to figure out, okay, what kind of player am I in the NFL, and all the certain stuff.
Your body hurts.
Yeah, your body hurts.
Let's forget about that happens too.
You're mentally fatigued, and so so you're mentally and physically fatigued a little bit after the training camp, and then you got to ramp it back up for 16-week regular season, and so that's and from college too. That's also really tough because it's just a whole other game.
Do you feel like an NFL, like established NFL offensive lineman now? I mean, you spent so much time proving yourself. You didn't make the team 2 years in a row. Injuries kind of forced you into the lineup 2 years ago, but you've taken the ball and you've run with it.
Yeah, I don't know if I would like to say I'm established, but there's always things that I'm like trying to achieve.
Right.
Just now, it's more about being the best center in the division and then in the NFL, and that's kind of where I'm taking my career and looking at it, because I think that's what you have to do. You want to push yourself to get better, really be the hardest critic on yourself. Look at the things that you're doing really well and maybe the things that you're not doing so well, and say, okay, in practice I want to work on these things. Even if I make a mistake at doing it, I know that it'll become more comfortable, and I think it'll make you a better player. And I think with experience too, getting to start all last year, playing in a playoff game, all those things have really helped me, and playing a new position at right guard 2 years ago have really all come together and helped me become a much more well-rounded player too.
Just joined us, Matt Skura is here, Ravens Center. We're getting going in Miami. Luke Jones is with us. We're at Greenmount Station. I see the big sign. We got the OTB. Everybody's crazy up here in Carroll County for the Ravens.
Week 1.
We got the North Carroll Panthers over here. I mean, we have dressed it. We got Tattoo U on the back wall, Rolling Stone stuff. I got the Beatles over my head. So we got rock and roll. They got the OTB up here, the greatest crab cakes. I warned you about the crab cakes. I mean, trying to tell a Pittsburgh guy about crab cakes, all he wanted to know was whether they put the French fries on a sandwich or not, right? But I do want to ask you about the center thing, because I find the growth mindset that you talk about, and the Duke thing, and the intelligence thing, and being able to assimilate and make the distinctions. Where are you 2 years? Why in your mind are you playing now? Is it that you're bigger, faster, stronger? What makes you a starting guy now that didn't a couple of years ago when you were your own worst critic, but also they were your critic by saying you're not good enough right now. You're not ready yet. Even in your mind, you thought, well, I put good tape together and I played well in the preseason game, but now you are in. What has been the distinctive thing for you?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of many things. So I think physically getting bigger and stronger, getting used to the speed of NFL practices and the NFL game, and also just understanding NFL defensive schemes, even the offensive schemes as well. In college, the way the offensive systems are, defenses are very basic. Like, you're pretty much getting either one or two looks. and it's very easy. You're always going to one person or the other, and it's just easy. Whereas in the NFL, guys are bigger, faster, stronger, smarter, and they know how to make plays. So defensive coordinators make their blitzes much more complicated. They make even their base defenses complicated. So that was the biggest thing for me too, is understanding how to identify defenses in the NFL with my eyes and training myself how to do that. So I think, just those experiences in the game really does slow down. When I first got to Baltimore, my head was spinning. I was like trying to figure out snap count, offensive call, formations, defensive alignments, all this stuff, and
then physically you're also getting overwhelmed because you're not big enough, right?
Yeah, and then you're like, all right, I got to go block Brandon Williams or Mike Pierce, and make sure the snap is good, and make sure that I'm moving fast enough and all this stuff. So as you gain experience and you're just in the facility and you're talking with the guys, this and that, you just gain experience, and those sort of things just like slow down and just become second nature.
How you mentioned going up against Brandon Williams and Michael Pierce. How much better has that made you as a player? I've talked to offensive players over the last couple of years where, not to be disrespectful to opponents, but they say sometimes the games are easier because you're going up against such a good defense in practice.
Yeah, and I would definitely agree. I mean, our defense loves running crazy blitzes. We're always getting some sort of blitz, defensive line stunts, anything like that. And Brandon and Mike are two of the best run stoppers, and I would say some of the best pass rushers for guys their size. Both have great athletic ability, quickness, and strength. And so, going against those guys, being able to go against them for the last, 3-4 years has been awesome for me, because it's kind of like when a batter puts a weight on his bat before going out to hit a ball. You swing faster after you take that weight off, and I kind of feel the same way going against those guys, because you really don't face too many nose tackles who are that big, that strong, that physical. And so, for me, I think it's been a huge part of my success.
Well, now that you've been in there, 30 times against live bullets on the other side, you really do get to gauge how good your guys are, right? I mean,
right.
You feel that over 4 quarters.
Yeah, definitely. And, I've had guys who play on other teams and are like, man, they text me, why do you guys blitz so much? Or and I'm like, hey, just get used to it, because this is what I see every day in practice. But and so that's a perfect example of like, other teams don't see that. In practice they may just see, some more vanilla defensive blitzes, where with us, we're getting the whole kitchen sink thrown at us. And I think that's been a huge part of our success too. We feel comfortable going into a game with whatever a defense has to throw at us, because most likely we've seen it in practice.
We are swabbing for the Bone Marrow Registry. We have all of our loved ones from There Goes My Hero up in Carroll County tonight. We're going to be swabbing through all of our shows. We're going to be at Adams Jeep up in Harford County at various points throughout the season as well. Always swabbing for the Bone Marrow Registry. And people come up to me, and whenever I come to Carroll County, they tell me how good my wife looks. It's wonderful, So they remember her as a blonde. She's now back here as a brunette and doing well. So we appreciate that. It's great to be back up here at Greenmount Station. We got a couple more segments ahead. Matt Skura, we're not going to hold it against him, the Duke, the Pittsburgh, any of that. He's one of us now. So we're going to teach him how to eat crab cakes up here. Luke Jones is here. We're heading to Miami. We are WNST.net, AM 1570 and WNST Towson, Baltimore. Live from Carroll County. We continue on WNST.